So today on Monday's trading session, we were left with some interesting candlesticks, not only on the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P, but more so the type of chart pattern taking place on the NASDAQ. This is where I'm going to begin, as at the end of Monday's trading session. As you can see on Friday, we had a nice gap up, a nice spinning top, and we sort of asked ourselves the question, what are the probabilities of this continuing up to the all-time highs? Or is there a chance that we are going to pull back, try and fill this gap and see if it holds as support? Obviously today it appears it's going to be the second. It has closed down about 15 points on the daily. We still have an open window which is going to act as support, and we also have old resistance back in February and March which is going to again act as support if we come back down and retest on the NASDAQ. So you can say to yourself, look, we do have some form of a limited downside. Expect buying pressure. Just a couple of points from where we're trading at the moment. It really comes from just above the 5,000 area. Here we are at 5,010. You can sort of say to yourself, well, expect maybe a continuation to the downside, maybe in the vicinity of 5, 10, 15 points, but really pay attention to the pivot coming in at about 4,995. This is going to be very important, not only for the NASDAQ, because when we tie it into the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you can see on today's candlestick, we have what we call a shooting star. Now, it is sort of breaking the mold. Over the past 9 trading sessions, we've had big long day Morobozu candlesticks, followed by inside day long day candles, followed by long day Morobozus, followed by inside day, over and over and over again. Here we are on Friday with another long white day Morobozu candlestick, but we didn't see the inside day candle. I mean, we didn't come down and try and pierce below the Friday's intraday lows. If anything, we tried to push on a little bit higher. Yes, we are left with what we call a shooting star, but it isn't as bearish as what these inside day long day candlesticks have been over the past entire week. I still think that these markets are going to struggle to push a little bit higher back up into this resistance level on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That comes in about 18,250. Any bit, or if we push up a little bit higher than today's candle, look, I'd move more so into a neutral type of scenario or outlook on the overall markets. The same is true for the S&P 500. Same type of candlestick patterns. You can see the inside outside days over and over again. Based on chart patterns, it should have repeated itself today. It didn't. That's good. Finally, it breaks the mold. We did try and push off, but in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the trading session, a lot of the markets actually sold off quite erratically. Now, that was similar to Apple. If I changed to Apple, last week's candle, in the last 10 minutes or so, a lot of technical damage was done. You can see today we gapped back up on a bit of buying pressure. Inside day Harami, it isn't giving us too much information to work with. This may be some form of a bull flag. We'll keep that in mind with the 130.20 bullish entry. But there's also a very good chance, based off the candlesticks on Thursday and Friday, that we're actually going to see a rollover in the price of Apple, which will resolve itself at least back down to these lows, around 122 on that particular stock. Other interesting advancements today, Boeing Airlines had somewhat of a bearish day. If we have a look at the Bollinger Bands, is getting into a sort of a Bollinger Band squeeze trend trade. Pay attention to that. It may break this coming week. If not, to be set up for a trade next week. Baidu today, nice inside day candle. It's almost what we call an engulfing candle. We didn't actually open below the low of Friday's candle, and we didn't close above the high of Friday, so it sort of negates the argument for a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Nonetheless, this is very, very strong. My only contention with this bullish trade is that we have a downtrend in effect, and until we break above the downtrend, you can see how we've been mitigating risk on the upside, more inclined to trade any possible rollover. You can see how we're very neutral on this overall trade. Pay attention to this. 218 is still an aggressive entry. We need to overcome this downward trend line, but it's a nice looking swing trade based on the candles. Very nice. It's obeying this pivot here at 215, a decent looking trade. Caterpillar today, another shooting star right in that red box which I drew over the weekend. Again, I said this is going to act as resistance. You can see the first candlestick saying, look, this is resistance. I'm expecting this to pull back down, and that will give us the buying opportunity on this particular stock. CVX, a nice dark cloud cover. Again, we were reluctant to go long on this because we were at that pivot point. And we are, again, conflicting with a lot of downtrends in many stocks, not only on Baidu and CVX, but also stocks outside of that Pivot Point Pro analysis workshop. FAS, again, had some form of a dark cloud cover. Tried to push up intraday. Pretty much salvaging break even on this trade at the moment. Still expecting higher highs. We got pretty close. I mean, we hit it today. I am trying to eke out a higher target on this particular ETF trade. So, I mean, if you're in this, that's okay. Tighten your stop. It's going to work in alignment with the overall markets. FAS AES really struggling to push high. You can see how we had our trade at 85.06 to continue the bullish type of trend. It hasn't triggered yet. I'm a little bit reluctant on this trade. I've had a lot of people email in and say, what's the best way to sort of play Facebook? And really the answer to that question is to pay attention to this 81.50 level. I mean, what I want to see in Facebook is to see it retrace in a controlled manner, and to see this pivot point right here at about, again, $81, $82 hold as support. This will be the best buying opportunity. At the moment, we are very extended. I mean, we're $3 above the perfect buying opportunity in Facebook. It's always hard because you don't want to miss the continuation of the trend. And I mean, going back to Apple most recently when it broke out during the months of February, you never want to miss these types of moves. So what I would say is that if you are looking to trade Facebook, you could possibly nibble on some positions about 85.06, with, of course, the possibility that we could come down to about 82. But really, my ideal buy price comes in around where this green box is drawn right now, as I'm drawing it for Facebook. So pay attention to that. Google today had a nice little spinning top. No real price movement. Is up 42 cents, but really nothing day. Indecision. Pay attention to this bullish trend line. It's still in effect, still holding the price of Google. GoPro had a nice little pop. You can see we're up about $1.70. Again, I'm just paying attention to a potential Bollinger Band squeeze. Also, there's the consideration that we were in some form of a bearish sort of wedge, and we may be starting to break out of it. Generally, what you like to see is to see it really advance outside of the break. It appears as if we're sort of really struggling to get above this resistance level, and it's more so of a swing and oscillation type of trade, which you'll see in GoPro. It may, again, reverse the trend and move back up to maybe $65, $75. That may be, 3 to 4 month targets on GoPro, maybe even as far out as 6 months if we can reverse the trend. But we're sort of starting to see the initial sort of trend change based off this bullish divergence as well. So pay attention to GoPro. IBM today, we were speaking about the inverse head and shoulders on this particular stock. It's looking quite nice. I mean, we've come up and we've retested resistance a couple of times. Most recently, late February, we pulled back into a support level, and now we're really taking off, similar to that of Facebook. Now, very close to that long trigger, roughly on IBM. Again, we're not out of the woods. We still need to overcome, the 200 simple moving average on the long-term sort of macro picture of the trend. It seems again as if many of these stocks are starting to reverse. What you could see in IBM is a move up, a pullback, and then ultimately the continuation. That's sort of what I'm expecting for IBM at least. So pay attention to that particular stock. Netflix today, no real net movement. Again, I'm paying attention to the potential of a bear flag. You can see a very quick breakdown below 413, which would be a nice little move. And to conclude with, we have Tesla. Tesla, another inside day. I really want to see this breakout before earnings. You can see we're nearing the apex of this descending triangle, a long-term descending triangle. I want to see that breakout. So that's a little bit of a Monday market recap. Pay attention to the markets. They're the best indication of what a lot of the stocks are going to do. Again, pay attention to the NASDAQ around this level where this open window is. All right, very, very important. Have a great Monday evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world. Thank you so much for watching and listening to what I have to say about the markets. I truly appreciate it. It's great to at least share this information with you. Have a splendid evening. I will most likely see you most likely Wednesday, I'd say, depending on if there's any dramatic market moves on Tuesday. That will be the case. I will record on Tuesday, but I mean, if our hypothesis on the market holds true, probably will be a Wednesday. Have a great evening. All the best. Goodbye.